to be a bully. I used to be a hot mess growing up, like when I was a little girl. And I was like, yo, this is a funny story to tell because I did make a video. I've talked about this before on my channel, but it's old. But I didn't go into detail. I talked about how I was bullied, but I was like, you know what? I want to make a video about how I was a bully too. Now, if you watch my video growing up in a being a black girl in a school with Hispanics, prior to that, and even during that time a little bit too, I was a hot mess. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. My problem, I used to instigate and start problems. My cousin, she spent the night at my house, and we had went outside. We went outside. So the night I was young. So my cousin spent the night over my house. And basically that night, going to the next day, I had peed in the bed. So what I do, I go and we go outside. I go outside the next day. Me and her go outside the next day. We go down a block. I hang out with my block friends, my friends on the block. And I go and tell them that she was the one that peed in the bed. Like, Mahogany, why would you do that, bro? Why would you do that? And I'm gonna tell y'all why I did it. I did it because I was tired of that cousin bossing me around. But still, that was wrong. That was dead wrong. I'll tell y'all another story. One time there was a girl, it was 3 girls, and I remember I was like in the 5th grade, and there was 3 girls, and they was in conflict. They was like the mean girls in the school, and I kind of just wanted to feel included and accepted by them. So what I do is I cause some little drama. So I go and I say, yeah, I tell them, yeah, Naija said that you're just jealous of her and you're stupid and da-da-da-da, right? So they have me going back and forth, telling the girl, I'm going back and forth, being the messenger between the 2 girls and the other 1 girl. And basically, I got hooked up because when I told the other girl what the 2 girls was saying, but I told the 1 girl what the 2 girls were saying. It was 3 girls in a group, and 2 of the girls were together, and the other girl was by herself. So when I go and tell the 1 girl what the other girl said was that they're not jealous of her, right? The girls were looking at my mouth. Like, I couldn't be faced the other way. I had to face towards them because that was the only seat that was available. And I think the girl did say, turn towards us so we could see you. And so, yeah, and then I was like, yeah, well, they said that and they said they're not jealous of you. And the girl was like, I never said you were jealous of me. And they was like, well, Mahogany said that you said that. I was stuck. I was stuck. I was in the middle. I was in the middle, bro. I was like, oops. Oh, God. It was another time. And I remember I was very like bold. Like, I was mean. So for example, 1 girl, I hung out with her a lot, and she, I commented, I said, why are you always wearing the same clothes? And she got real offended. She grew up in poverty and everything like that, and that was really offensive. But I was young. That was mean. And I'm gonna have an end game to this, guys. I think I probably had to be about 6 or 7 around that time. There was another time when I was younger. I was in kindergarten, and me and this girl, we used to eat lunch together, and I didn't bring lunch, and I would always eat her lunch. And then she told me one day, I asked for her lunch. She was like, oh, no, this is all I have. And I was just like, I was kind of feeling some kind of way because I was like, well, dang, like, what am I going to eat? Like, girl, get your own lunch. You using this girl for her lunch. And then she was like, oh, here. Like, and I was like, no, it's fine. She was like, no, take it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I used to be a hot mess too. There's another time when I was outside. Now, mind you, I hung out with my usual crew. Now, the crew, they couldn't come outside. So I hung out with this other girl on the block. Now, me and her were having a good time. I went to her house. I didn't even get to go inside her house. Her parents were really strict, so I was kind of hanging out in the hallway with her. And we were having a good time, everything. I go home. So the next day, my crew was able to come outside again. So they come outside. The girl comes outside. And I start being mean to the girl. Go home. Get out of here. Nobody wants you here. Leave. And they like, my friends like, Mahogany, stop. Like, why are you doing that? And I was like, girl, bye. And she was sad. She was, at first she was staying, and then she eventually left. Let me tell y'all a story. And this is why I'm telling y'all this. when I moved to North New Jersey, this is when I started North. This is when I started when I got bullied at the school, predominantly Hispanics. I remember on the new block I lived on, I was outside. And I was hanging out with these girls. Now, all these people were Hispanic. These kids were Hispanic. And I remember I was outside with the one girl, and then two other guys came outside. She had them behind her gate, and she was closing the gate on me. She was like, "You can't come in here. You're not coming in here. No, go, like, leave." I was like, and then I remembered how I did that little girl when I lived in Irvington. And there was stories, and when I got bullied, it kind of like, I came back, and that's why I felt like I deserved it because of how I was when I was a child. Like, in it, like I was just lying on people. Like, girl, what? But I take full responsibility because I knew what I was doing, though. You know how sometimes they say, "Oh, well, you was a child, you didn't know any better." And yeah, I guess I didn't know better if my brain not being fully developed, but I knew what I was doing was wrong. Like, I knew that it was a hot mess. And there were times where I would lie. It was actually funny. Like, I remember my mother will always tell this story how I had lied to my friends, telling them I'm having a tea party at the house. So, and my friends really came. I'm like, she ain't having no tea party over it. But I actually ended up having one because people came. So, I used to do stuff like that too. But I'm saying this to say, guys, what goes around comes back around. And even though in general, no one deserves bullying, but I'm just telling y'all this story to be fully transparent and even acknowledge, like, things that I've did too. And just to kind of tell you guys, like, listen, I used to be a hot mess too. And going through that, being a bully, then getting bullied, right? It literally humbled me. Because now you see the person staring at you on this camera, on this screen. I'm a different person. Now, yeah, don't get me wrong, I got another side. I have another side. But I completely changed my life. I went from being that person that instigated a liar, the want to fit in, the wannabe, to being an individual, to being a person who's kind, to being a person who's loving. Because I realized what I was not okay. And then I remember, like I said, the world responded to me differently. Once I started to see what wasn't working, what character traits weren't working, I tapped into myself, brought out my gifts, saw what wasn't working, learned the lessons, and changed. And that's what made people, I went from people wanting to be around me to people not wanting to be around me to people who wanted to be around me. I went from not, tapping into my gifts to tapping into my gifts. I went from just being this person that people just hated and looked down on, to a person that people actually really found dope. So I just want to tell you guys the story and the lesson I learned from being a bully and how it actually just completely changed me from the inside out. So I hope this helps you guys. It's your girl Hago. I'm signing out. Peace.